Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name's DadBod, and today we're learning all the things I should know about Elden Ring. Apparently there's a lot. We're reacting to this video, 15 more essential discoveries in Elden Ring. It's by VaatiVidya, and we'll see where I have gone wrong. All this should be interesting.
Okay, so this is how you should be warping to the round table hold. Done.
What?
It's literally that easy.
What?
Now, be honest, how many of you are still dragging your cursor there manually?
Yes.
Instead, you just have to press triangle or Y to open the list of grace checkpoints, and then you press square or X to confirm a warp straight there. It took me way too long to discover that this was a thing. But Elden Ring is full of little quality of life things like this that are never explained, so I'm going to quickfire 4 more at you. For example, if you walk through a beacon of light that you've placed, the beacon will disappear. So this is an excellent way to mark that you've actually reached your destination without having to pull up your map. Next, if an enemy explodes in a burst of blue light, that means they're going to drop an item. Don't miss it. And when you do pick up an item, take note of this icon. This tells you which category of your inventory that item just went into. This will make it way easier to figure out what you just picked up. Another great way to go over your recent loot is to press L3 on the inventory menu. This will let you sort in order of acquisition and look over all of the items that you recently looted at the bottom.
You can sort your inventory? No. Okay, this is too much. This is too much straight up. Okay, so first of all, you don't have to manually deselect your waypoints, your beacons. Second of all, you can sort your inventory. Third of all, the game tells you if it's going to loot drop. I have been going horribly wrong. Okay.
Into vertical categories that are demarcated by these horizontal lines. For example, the Bolstering Materials tab organizes your flask materials, your smithing stones, and your somber smithing stones into their own sections. Every tab is like this. Now, with those quality of life tips out of the way, let's get into the big stuff. First off, how would you like to have a buff that gives you 5% extra runes? To get this, all you have to do is type in 7 letters. So in the last Secrets video, I announced Secret Seekers, which is our community group. To join, enter the password SEEKERS in all caps as your first group password in your multiplayer tab, and you'll be able to identify phantoms, bloodstains, messages, and summon signs from other people in the group. Our goal is to find secrets in the game and to share them with others. And since then, I can't go 5 minutes without finding evidence of you guys hurling yourselves off cliffs in search of secrets.
Hurling yourself off cliffs trying to find secret places is like a rite of passage in Elden Ring. It really is. I have done my fair share of it.
Good scenes like this, covered in blood, and you make me so proud. But since then, we've also discovered that every time someone in the group defeats a shard bearer or becomes Elden Lord, everyone else in the group receives a 5% buff to their rune acquisition. And, considering there are thousands of you in this group, this buff activates like constantly. So join us and enjoy your free runes.
One of us. I'm more of a single player dude, so probably not gonna enjoy the benefits of this one, but useful to know. Definitely useful to know.
Another way to get free runes is by duplicating your remembrances. Godric's, for example, gives 20,000 runes, and subsequent bosses give even more than that. Every major boss drops a remembrance, though
I just redeemed a remembrance of one of the big ghosty elk deer things for 30k runes. How do you duplicate that?
proper way to use them is to trade them in for boss items at Enya, the finger reader at Round Table Hold. And here you'll realize that every remembrance can be traded in for multiple items, so it's possible to duplicate them at the walking mausoleums that are found throughout the game. Here's what some of our testing revealed. First, there are 7 walking mausoleums in total, 1 in Limgrave, 3 in Leonia, 1 in the mountaintops of the Giants, 1 in the consecrated snowfield, and the last in the deep-root depths. The method of bringing down a mausoleum differs in most cases.
Oh, this I need to know. I've only found the one which has the little patches of like scaly rock, which you defeat on the bottom of the legs. Do you defeat the other 2?
I'll let you figure it out, but it's generally related to removing the white curse marks from their body.
Yeah!
And it's worth finding your way up to each of these, because you can only duplicate one remembrance per mausoleum. After duplicating, that mausoleum becomes pretty obsolete. Interestingly, you don't actually need the remembrance in your inventory to duplicate it. You just have to have defeated the boss you got it from.
Oh, that's cool.
Also, note that you cannot duplicate remembrances that you have already claimed all of the items from. And finally, make sure to use your duplications before heading into New Game Plus, because your remaining duplications won't carry over. In addition to receiving a remembrance, defeating a shard bearer will also grant you a great rune.
Yes.
Once acquired, you have to go to its corresponding divine tower and activate that great rune. After doing this, you can equip a great rune at a site of lost grace, with your equipped rune appearing in the top left of your screen. These great runes bestow powerful effects upon your character, though equipping the rune doesn't apply its effects. Instead, to do that, you'll have to consume a Rune Arc. These powerful
Okay. Oh, this game is so complicated. Right, so equipping it doesn't bestow the benefits. I wondered what Rune Arcs were for. Grants a blessing of an equipped great rune upon use, and I read that and still did not associate the fact that getting the great rune and equipping it at its special little shrine location still didn't give you the benefits.
Consumables are a reward for invading, doing co-op, exploring the world. They're basically like embers or humanity from previous games, in the sense that it's a powerful buff that doesn't disappear until you die.
Oh, well, some of us die a lot.
You also get them from killing rats, just like humanities and embers from previous games. The lore here is that, even the most valuable items in the world make their way down to the bottom of the food chain, to the rats that consume the bodies of all. Every great rune does something different. Godric's, for example, increases every one of your attributes by 5, which sounds low, but then you have to remember that's essentially granting you 40 extra levels for a limited time. Characters that use a wide variety of spells and scalings will benefit most from this, of course, but some of the later great runes are even more powerful. But if you don't have a great rune equipped, then a Rune Arc will just increase your max HP by about 10%. So Rune Arcs aren't really worth using unless you have a great rune equipped. But remember, make use of Rune Arcs. Don't just let them sit wasted in your inventory, next to all the other consumables that you're afraid to use. Equip them to your pouch and pop one whenever you're on a really difficult boss. Because
whenever you're on a really difficult boss. Let's just analyze that statement just for a second. As someone who has never played a Souls game before Elden Ring, every boss is the most difficult boss I've ever faced in my entire life. I walked in to the Tree Sentinel within my first few minutes of playing the game and got obliterated and spent the next hour just getting obliterated, going, this is in the starting area, I should be able to beat this guy. Right? Come on. It's just...
It might be this item that pushes you over the edge to victory. Renala's Great Rune is a bit of an outlier from the others. Unlike the others, it can't be equipped, and it doesn't need to be activated by a Rune Arc. Rather, it can be used to respec your character. Talk to Renala at Raya Lucaria, and you'll be able to bring your character back to their starting stats with all of your previous levels ready for reinvestment. This process requires that you defeat Renala, of course, but it also requires that you have a larval tear. These are very rare, but to tell you about the location of at least one, there's a royal soldier located here in Limgrave that drops one. Be careful though, kill him, and he might just be reborn anew. But Elden Ring is a long game, so as you pick up your 50th meteorite sorcery, you might start to think, yeah, maybe I want to play a sorcerer, so respec, try something new, switch it up, it's easy to do. You just have to kill this guy for a larval tear, it's so easy, right? Another way to fix your character might be via pardoning, which, let's be honest, is a mechanic that exists for when you put down your controller and you accidentally press the R2 button in front of an NPC.
I killed Alexander.
Alternatively, it is also useful when giant dogs attack NPCs through walls and they get upset at you instead. So to get NPCs to forgive you, you just need to find Celestial Dew, one of them is located here, for example, and then take it to this pool at the Church of Vows. In researching this, I started...
There is so much in this game! Oh my goodness! I had no idea this was even a thing.
to wonder what this mechanic is really for, and I think I figured out it must be for the merchants, because logically, you should be killing every merchant you see. Because once you kill them, you can just buy all of their items in one place, at the Twin Maiden Husks at Round Table Hold. That said, it's very traumatizing to kill a merchant.
You kill them, and it centralizes the entire inventory.
Just listen.
It's all my fault. Please, don't hurt me. I said don't hurt me.
Oh no. Oh no. No. No, no. No, 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 no.
So, if you regret this decision, ask for forgiveness, and the merchant will become friendly again. If you really do have some angst to let out, don't take it out on NPCs that don't really exist. Take it out on other human beings, like a normal person. Your item for Infinite Invasions is the Bloody Finger, which can be acquired by progressing Vare's questline to the Rose Church. Speak to him before defeating Godric at the start of the game, and then again at the Rose Church in Leonia, located here. Here, he'll give you 5 festering Bloody Fingers for invading other players. Use 3 of them to progress his questline, where he will next require you to soak the Lord of Blood's favor in the blood of a maiden. One maiden exists here in the Church of Inhibition in Leonia. Interact with the maiden and return to Vare to receive the bloody...
So, we're slaughtering innocents now. Progress the game line. Okay, alright, I guess it's on theme. It's on par with the rest of the game.
Finger. Alternatively, you can pick up the Recusant's Finger at the Volcano Manor. You get this later in the game, and this one has a different story affiliation to the Invaders of the Bloody Finger that you got from Vare. But if you'd rather just engage in duels with other players, then you'll need the Duelist's Furled Finger.
I have a question. Who sits there and is slaughtering the innocents just to figure this stuff out? Like, someone who is not in the know, someone who doesn't know the developers, doesn't know the game programmers or anything like that, just a regular player like you and I, is sitting there going, oh, I'm gonna hack me some innocents today. Ooh, that provided an interesting effect.
Which can be found on a corpse at the doors of Stormhill Coliseum. The small red effigy can also be found here, and it serves the same purpose, except it sends a competitive summon sign to the summoning pool instead. Summoning pools are accessible at these effigies, found throughout the world. And if PvP is something you'd like to avoid entirely, well, pick up the white Cipher Ring from the Twin Maiden Husks at the Round Table Hold. With this buff active, you'll automatically request help from another player when your world is invaded. And if you want to be the player that helps invaded players, then you can just use the blue Cipher Ring.
Have seen
instead.
those before.
Also in the Round Table Hold is Fia, the Deathbed Companion.
Oh, this is the creepy lady, the creepy vampire lady. We've done a video on her. Balderkin's Blessing.
Embrace her and you'll receive a Balderkin's Blessing. And I don't blame people for not realizing this. The buff and debuff icons get pretty intense in Elden Ring. And as a side note, icons with a square around them are permanent effects from rings, and ones with diamonds around them are temporary. But the biggest question here is the Balderkin's Blessing worth it? And the answer is, kind of. I'd honestly only recommend bothering with this mechanic if you know that extra poise will serve you well.
In my estimation, not really worth.
With lots of rats, or demi-humans, or flying projectiles. But the main reason to go back to Fia every now and then is because you'll eventually get a dialogue option for progressing her questline.
Oh.
For me, this always appears once I've moved into the Altus Plateau. Also, enjoy the cuddles, or don't. You can also just warp out of there if you think the animation is too long. Though things like this are why you're maidenless, For number 14, have you ever found yourself disappointed with the amount of armors that you can alter? Well, you can actually expand your options by acquiring the gold sewing needle in Leonia.
I've only just found the regular sewing needle. There's a gold sewing needle? Who makes a needle out of gold? It's like a soft metal. Doesn't that... I have questions.
In a chest to the right when you enter the Church of Vows, located here. This lets you modify godly attire, so stuff like Renala's set, for example. Furthermore, if you've progressed Box questline in Limgrave after talking to him here and here, then you'll eventually find him again in Leonia at the East Raya Lucaria Gate. Here, Bok will perform your armor alterations for free, even taking the gold sewing needle from you if you should so desire. And if you can't find him here, that means he's moved on to Lanedell. Finally, everyone knows about the whetstone knife at the Gateside Ruins that lets you apply Ashes of War, but did you know that there are also additional Whetblades in the game? Finding these Whetblades will unlock additional scaling options. The most accessible early game Whetblades seem to be the Iron Whetblade, which adds keen, heavy, or quality scaling and is located in Stormvale Castle, or the Glintstone Whetblade, which adds magic scaling located in Raya Lucaria. And that's it.
My goodness, this game is so big. There's so much to it. How much more just wasn't contained in this video? That's my question. I have put days, literally days of effort into this game, and I still have only progressed through 2/3 of the storyline. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. My name is DadBod. You can catch me streaming on twitch.tv or continue watching any more of the videos are located above. Look forward to seeing you again next time.